This is the final lesson in our 7th grade percents unit. It's over simple interest. You'll probably learn about compound interest later on. I would say most likely high school. Right now, though, we're just dealing with the most basic of interest formulas. So the simple interest formula, in my classes, we call it IPERT because it kind of looks like it says IPERT. I equals PRT. When you have variables right beside each other, like the PRT, it means to multiply. The capital I stands for interest. Interest is money that builds up over time. P is for principal. Principal is your starting amount. It's how much you deposit into your bank account or how much you borrow for a loan. Your rate is going to be the percent in the problem. It's the rate at which the interest builds up. To be able to work with it, though, you have to change it from a percent to a decimal. To do that, you move 2 spots to the left. And then T is for time. Typically, it's given in years. Sometimes it's given in months, but usually it's years. So let's do some. Okay. So the first one says, how much interest will Hannah earn in 4 years if she deposits $630 in a savings account at 6.5% simple interest? So the first thing I'm going to do is write down my formula, IPERT, I equals PRT. And now piece by piece, I'm going to plug in everything I know. It says how much interest, so we don't know the I yet. P is principal, that's your starting amount. In this case, it's how much she's depositing into her account. So $630 times R is for your rate. It's going to be given as a percent. So I have 6.5%, but I need to change that to a decimal. So I'm going to pick up the decimal that's in it and scoot 2 places left. So I'm going to put in 0.065 times T is for time, and it says this one's going to be 4 years. So to find how much interest builds up, I'm going to multiply those numbers. Let's see, 630 times 0.065 times 4. I get 163.8. And we want to make sure that looks like money. Money gets 2 decimal places. So don't move the decimal point, just extend what's there by adding a 0. We are going to build up, or Hannah is going to build up $163.80. Now, if the problem had asked you to go one step further and find out how much she has total in her savings account, she still has that $630. Plus, she's getting $163.80 in free money, basically. So you would add that on to the $630 to find what she has altogether in her account. Whenever you're opening up a savings account or some checking accounts build up interest, you want to try to shop around and see who's offering the highest interest rate. When it's in a savings account or a checking account, that money that builds up is yours to keep. It's like the bank's paying you to use their company to keep your money there. So it's important when you're opening up an account, a bank account, that you want to look for a high interest rate. Now, if you're borrowing money for a loan, or if you're looking at getting a credit card, you want to try to find the lowest interest rate possible, because that money that builds up is more money that you are going to have to pay back. So if it's money you're going to pay back, you want to find the lowest interest rate that's offered. Okay, next problem, college fund. When Melissa was born, her parents put $8,000 into a college fund account that earned 9% simple interest. Find the total amount in the account after 18 years. So I'm going to write down IPERT, I equals PRT. I don't know the interest, so that stays I. P is principal, that's your starting amount, so that's $8,000. Times, my rate is 9%. I'm going to scoot to the left to make that 0.09 times 18 years. So let's find out how much money builds up. 8,000 times 0.09 times 18. I get, yep, hit the wrong button. Don't you love it? Let's try that again. And we're getting an announcement at school.
Staff, when you are leaving today, would you shut out your light, turn off your lights, Ms. Benton is the only one here. We want to make sure that
Sorry about that. I tried to pause my video in time, but it didn't want to cooperate. I'm recording this at school, and we're here on remote learning, so they're still making announcements and everything. Anyway, so 8,000 times 0.09 times 18 years, that is going to be $12,960 that builds up after those 18 years. Now it says find the total. So we found how much is building up, but she still has that $8,000. So we're going to take the 8,000. Okay, so I think I got my video paused that time because we had another announcement. I'll have to see in playback if I actually did. This is going very well, as usual. So anyway, Melissa still has that $8,000 plus she has $12,960 just for keeping money in that account. The more money you put in and the more time you have it there, the more interest builds up. So altogether, when she's 18 years old, she has $20,960 in that college fund. Okay. Mona opened a savings account with a $500 deposit and a simple interest rate of 5.6%. If there were no deposits or withdrawals, so that means she's going to put the money in, she's going to leave it, so we don't have to do anything fancy. How much money is in the account after 8.5 years? All right, so IPRT again, I equals PRT. I don't know how much interest is building up. I know that the deposit is $500, so that's my principal. Times for the percent, the rate, I'm going to scoot to the left and make that 0.056. Times for 8.5, since I'm plugging all this into a calculator, I'm going to put 8.5, make it a little bit easier on myself. So let's multiply and see how much interest builds up. $500 times 0.056 times 8.5, $238 is going to build up. So then from there, again, this one's asking how much money is in the account, not just how much money built up for interest, but how much is in the account. So that's 500 plus the 238 in interest. So the total would be $738. Interest can build up pretty quickly if your interest rate percent is all that high. 5.6% is fairly high for a savings account where you deposit. Usually you find your bigger interest rates on loans and credit cards because they're going to charge you more money. That's money you have to pay back. So that's where, places are much more willing to give you higher interest rates, unfortunately. Next problem, Raj won $900,000 in a regional lottery. Wouldn't that be nice? After paying $350,000 in taxes, he invested the remaining money in a savings account at 4.25% simple interest. How much money is in the account if Raj makes no deposits or withdrawals for 2 years? Well, we have to find that principal first. They've given us some extra information. We need to use that $900,000 and the $350,000 in taxes to find what he really had left to deposit. So we're going to take $900,000. Oh, goody, it doesn't want to cooperate. I love when this happens. This is special. Okay. My goodness, one of these days I'm going to make a video without any little technological hiccups, I promise. 900,000 minus 350,000. That leaves him with, let's see, 9 minus 3 would be 6, minus half more would be 5.5. So 550,000. So that's going to be his principal. That's how much he's depositing or investing. So here we go with IPRT. I don't know the interest, so that stays I. The starting amount, our principal, is the $550,000, and that's a big amount, so this interest is probably going to look pretty nice. The rate is 4.25%, so I'm going to scoot and make that 0.0425. And it says 2 years. So I'm going to take that times 2. Let's see what happens. 550,000 times 0.0425 times 2, I get $46,750. That's just the interest. This is saying how much is in the account. So this is another problem where we need to add that on. I haven't left myself much room here, have I? So we're going to take the 550,000 that he started with, and we're going to add to that the $46,750. So at the end of the 2 years, he would have $596,750. I have just a couple more for you. So all the ones that we've done so far, we've been trying to find the interest. And then we use that to find the total in the account or whatever it's asking for. These last two, we know the interest, but we need to use our equation to find some of the other missing parts. This one says Malik deposited $1,050 in a savings account, and it earned $241.50 in simple interest after 4 years. Find the interest rate on Malik's savings account. I'm going to start just like I've been starting. Write down IPERT, I equals PRT. This time, though, for the I, I'm going to replace that with $241.50 equals, I know that the principal is $1,050 times, I don't know the rate, so I'm just going to leave that as R, times, it says 4 years. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Over here, I can multiply 1,050 times 4 and make this look a little bit easier. So I'm going to put 241.50 equals, let's see, 1,050 times 4 is 4,200 times R. So now we have just a basic one-step equation. To undo the multiplication, we need to do its opposite, its inverse. We need to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4,200. So on the right, it cancels, and I just have the R. On the left, let's see, 241.5 divided by 4,200. I get 0.0575, if it would write. Here we go with this again. Oh my goodness, really? I swear. Point, there we go. Gosh, sorry. 0.0575. I'm almost there. Remember, when we work with the interest formula, we always change the percent to a decimal by scooting 2 to the left. So that's the form that the formula spit back out at us. I need to make it a percent, though, because in the actual problem, they always gave us the rate as a percent. Instead of moving 2 to the left, I'm going to move 2 to the right. So scoot, scoot. My interest rate was 5.75%. Let's do one more. Harry wants to earn $800 in interest, so he'll have enough to buy a used car. He puts $8,000 into an account that earns 10% interest. How long will he need to leave the money in the account to earn $800 in interest? So as always, start with IPERT, I equals PRT. The interest, we want $800 to build up. Principal, he's starting with $8,000 times the rate is 10%. So scoot, scoot, make that 0.10 or 0.1 is the same thing. Times, I don't know how long. So let's clean this up a little bit. Let's rewrite this as 800 equals, if you take 8,000 times 0.10 or 0.1, it's like dividing by 10. So all it does is take a 0 off. So that would be 800 times T. Now this one should be pretty easy to see, but like we did on the one about Malik's savings account, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So to work backwards and get T by itself, we would need to divide by 800. 800 divided by itself is 1, because we know that 800 equals 800 times 1. So depositing that much at that high of an interest rate, it would only take him 1 year for that to build up. That concludes our interest units. If you need any more help, please reach out, contact me, subscribe to my channel. I'm happy to do whatever I can. Thanks for sticking with me despite some of the little problems there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.